got two things that we got to fix with Dak Prescott. Hear what Mike McCarthy said about that. Trevon Diggs just threw his coaching staff under the bus. Rico Dowdle had a 3-hour sickness. Plus, one of us is about to be a star on Micah's show, maybe. All that on the Cowboys DLLS Podcast, which starts Look at that. We got people already here, just waiting to talk Cowboys football. We love you all. Welcome to the Cowboys DLLS Podcast, where we have all sorts of things to talk about. It's also a Tote That Thing Tuesday.
Tote that thing!
It's not always easy, but when you decide you're going to do a segment, you can't just stop doing the segment. So you got to figure out something you want to tote from last week into next week for the Dallas Cowboys. Good luck in the chat. We're looking for you. Defund the coaching staff. They already don't get much. Jerry's cheap. You already have a cheap coaching staff. Deez Jones. Yep.
These mics.
What's up, everybody? Here we go. We got a lot of stuff to get to, but I don't think we can start with anything other than Micah Parsons had Trevon Diggs on his podcast yesterday. And at one point in there, they were talking about if they should have a media person come on the show because they were talking about how the media is mean to them and stuff. And they said, yeah, we should have a media person on the show. And Mike Leslie, who Trevon Diggs, D's nuts, he was like, it's going to be me for sure. And Micah Parsons shared that and said, nah, I might go with Clarence Hill Jr. He got more of the funny guy TV personality. So congratulations, Clarence.
Okay, Pop.
Congratulations to Clarence, who's going to go on Micah's podcast.
Maybe.
And then I won't come back.
I'm a
They pay good money over at Bleacher Report.
You gonna go to Bleacher Report?
I'm gonna monitor the way you talk about Micah Parsons over the next few days.
Sir.
I feel like you might start kissing up.
And I'm
Sir.
Try to
gaslighting.
get on the show.
And I'm gaslighting for the rest of the week.
I keep it real.
Yeah.
I keep it real. Keep it real. I've always kept it real.
He basically said they missed him yesterday, so he did.
They do miss their best defensive player.
You ain't said what I'm
that
saying.
ain't breaking news.
I'm helping you. I am saying you ain't saying nothing bad.
Yeah, there's nothing. They missed their best defensive player. It's funny because everybody would, and we're going to get into the podcast for sure. But the idea that he was trying to take up for Diggs, they was trying to trade me a few weeks ago. The big bad media was trying to. The media was not necessarily trying to trade you a few weeks ago.
Well, it depends what you mean by the media.
Right.
Because like most of the people who are in the locker room consistently are beat writers.
Right.
And beat writers are going to tend to just report what's happening.
Right.
Whereas broadcasters, we'll try to trade people all the time. We have to come up with topics.
Right. And you come up with topics, but you're not trading him because he's bad. You're trading him because you're thinking.
No, I trade because your team is bad.
Right.
We need a lot of help.
And that's what people, but he's trying to, they were getting on me. They were trying to trade me. No, it wasn't really like that. If anybody was trying to trade you, it's because of the status of the team and what they could get and all the other stuff and where the team is, because you're a good player.
Yeah. If Micah
Because what
Parsons
they
got
can
traded
get for you,
it would be admitting that your team's just not good.
right? Because what they can get for you, they're not trading for you because you got one sack on the season.
Y'all want to trade Micah
got one
Parsons?
sack on the season.
Please don't,
In the
because
chat?
however, there are humans that do want to trade him, and I hate to tell you, there are people that are. In
Yeah,
the
but I'm
locker
talking about
room that
media. Yeah, but they're
I'd be willing to trade Micah Parsons
Oh,
for the right return.
for the return, not
Yeah.
because of what he brings to the Cowboys, but there are people she's talking about. Well, he's on a podcast, so trade him, and
Who
he
is
just,
it?
he's going across Europe in the offseason, so trade him. That's not what most
messy.
Aisha,
people
who
are
is it?
saying.
You said there's somebody in the locker room?
Huh?
In the locker room, you said?
No, I said
You
that
said people in the locker
you
room?
was talking about people on the.
Trade him.
You said, huh?
Yeah, broadcasters will talk about trading every player.
Yeah,
That's our job is to come up with sports topics.
Right,
Facts.
That's our job.
right. That's what that's about.
You want
Mhm.
some of this? Shout out to-
Jesse is quiet.
I'm listening.
You got some thoughts. I mean,
No.
you're a man of many thoughts.
I always have to tread lightly when the Micah topic comes
Yes,
up because people always want to jump on me.
Yes.
And I got to deal with family members, and I got to deal with all of. So I tread lightly whenever the Micah topic comes up. So I just let y'all talk,
I feel.
and I let y'all
Well,
speak.
Just-
And
remember,
His brother gonna whoop your ass?
Quarterly.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe.
I feel
My mom would appreciate it. She said somebody gonna F me up one day.
I accidentally had a
better
line
fight all
one
your life,
time
huh?
that I think works, where I think the way that you defend yourself is you just look into the camera and you're just like, look, if you think that I am a homer, it's because you're a hater. And if you think I'm a hater,
because you're home.
it's because you're a homer. I'm just telling you the truth. And I don't even know if that's true about myself, but it's fun to say.
But it
So
is
like, I'm
true.
a Dak homer. No, if you think that, you're a hater. And I'm a Zeke hater. No, if you think that, you're a homer.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Well, that's how I treat it, because that's how I get. There's some people think I hate the Cowboys, and some people think I cut for the Cowboys. And
Yeah.
if you got people thinking both ways, then you're doing something right.
I didn't introduce everybody. Do you want me to, or do you just?
We don't. We can just go.
Hi, I'm Jeff. What's up? Good to see you. Next to me is former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Holly. Hi.
Oh, Jesse Holly went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
What you got for us?
You eat when the food is ready.
Mm.
You speak when the time is right.
Sound like Thanksgiving.
Mm.
At the food ready at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's black folks. Thank you.
Next to him is a man who does not live by that creed. He speaks, well, that's when the time is right to him. All the time.
All the
And he doesn't care if he's loud because he doesn't hear it in his head.
That's right. And maybe the next guest on Micah Parsons' podcast, Clarence Hill.
If you want to win, put Pop. And they won't call me Pop on that
I will pay
podcast.
them.
I
should.
bet
I
you
will
they won't.
pay them.
They
But
should.
They
But
might.
I would say
I
we,
will pay
a lot of
them.
stuff is going on with the Cowboys. I just want to say this, that we talked about the accident, I think, yesterday. Maybe did we do it on the air before the game?
I think we mentioned it.
We mentioned it on
Turns
the
out
air.
it was bad.
It was really bad accident. Jerry Jones talked about it this morning, that Jerry Jr. had a concussion. It felt like those things that came up and hit the car. The car is totaled. Jerry Jr. had a concussion. It felt like, he said, it sounded like a bomb went off in the car. That's how tough the accident was. Charlotte was not feeling well Sunday and Monday. So a lot of Cowboys front office gets a lot of grief, but hope they're okay.
Yeah, for sure. Next to Clarence is our X's and O's queen, our analyst, Aisha Morrison.
Hello.
And I promise I do not come into the show getting ready to do rants about the Jones family, because that's not even fun after you've done it enough times. But when you have a comment on the show that's just inaccurate, I do feel like we have to correct it. The one that says the Walker trade wasn't a giant catalyst to the Cowboys' success had a little. The main reason they won was because Jerry bought all the players and there was no cap and a bunch of very poor teams. The Cowboys were 17th in spending while they were winning those Super Bowls. Jerry put in the cap to make sure that nobody could spend more to beat him. He was even cheap then. So don't make stuff up. But anyway, also, we're really happy to report that Rico Dowdle is feeling much better. He's battling through his sickness, which is great.
Yeah, breaking news yesterday. We certainly would do the day after press conferences, and I was told that if the game was today on Monday, Rico would have been able to play. He was fine. He was healthy. He was ready to go, and he would have played on Monday. Couldn't play on Sunday. Couldn't play a few hours early on Sunday. Whatever it was, the 3-hour bug, 24-hour flu, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. He was good to go on Monday. And for all you conspiracy theorists, understand that it wasn't about making Zeke inactive, because they did have 3 running backs active. They could have still had 3 running backs active because Deuce was active.
You're right, and that is true, and it makes sense. And you're right, and it's true, and it makes sense.
Deuce was active and didn't get a snap.
Why you say it twice?
You're right. That's all accurate, and it's true, and you're right. But I just think it made it easier to make sure that Zeke and Dalvin Cook got the ball, to not have the guy who's better than both of them active that day. And so, I don't know, because I do think that Rico is the sort of guy, based on talking to other people who might talk to Rico sometimes, that if it weren't true, he would probably Jordan Phillips' thing, even if it was quietly and off the record to somebody. Like, I was fine and I could have played, and I haven't heard that, so that's fine. But that's weird.
My understanding is that
that's weird.
All 3 could be active.
Debo couldn't breathe, and he was playing.
All 3 could be active next week. So then how do you do the carries?
You give Rico 10 for every 2 that one of the other guys gets. And I don't care which one of the other guys gets.
But all 3 will. They still want to keep Dalvin Cook up. We'll see if that happens, but they plan to keep Dalvin Cook up.
Might have won the game.
There's only 2 games this year where a Cowboys back has had more than 10 carries. One game, it was 11 carries, and the other game was the Rico game against Pittsburgh. Other than that, no other running back in the Cowboys stable has had 10 or more, has had more than 10 carries at any point in time in this game.
Which is?
Well, there's two reasons, right? One is when you're getting your ass kicked, you start calling pass plays because you got to score fast. And two is you suck at running. So why are you call those plays?
Your first two drives, there should be at least 7 or 8 carries in that, right? 7.
If you get first downs.
If you get first down, you got to get first down.
If you're 3 and out, you're 3 and out. But I'm just saying.
Two running backs that were playing for the Cowboys this season average, let's see, Zeke's what, 3.1, and Dalvin Cook is now an average of 2. That ain't fun. Yeah, Zeke's 3.1 a carry, 3.4 in that game, and Dalvin Cook was 2 yards a carry. I get it because it did. In the first half when they were able to run it a little bit, it was oh, that's helpful. And maybe they'll think you will and that you can. But even in the second half when it's hey, they got away from running the ball, they needed to run the ball more. Every running play they called went for 0 yards, -2 yards, 1 yard. It's hard.
And what's also true, as Mike said it before the season, it's a true rotation. They're going to rotate them. Obviously. I think the Pittsburgh game was an outlier, but other games it's been a true, we're going to be a rotational back system and we're going to rotate them every other series, which makes it tough. And then when you get behind, for one back to pile up carries.
And you know what it means when you have a rotational back system, right?
You don't have one.
Yeah. If you got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. If you've got 3 running backs and you don't care who gets the ball, it's because you don't have a good running back.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the rotation side of things just because I think that the running back position, you do need to get a feel. I think you do need to get into some type of rhythm, and none of these guys have been able to do that at all.
I think the Pittsburgh game showed you when you have success, they will keep you going. And if someone would have come out there and demanded, give me the ball more, they probably would have gave him the ball more. And what you saw in the Pittsburgh game was when Rico had that success, okay, let's keep Rico out there and feed them. So you have to earn that.
They'll have better players next season that play running back, so life will be better. I'm watching the number of teams where what happens at running back is it makes it very clear what you should be doing at running back, which is the exact opposite of what the Cowboys have done at running back. They were hey, we've got a guy that's been around for a while, and then we'll just bring back a couple of guys that used to be good, and that'll be the way to do this. There's a bunch of teams that what's happening to them is the Steelers, Najee Harris, and he's actually played well the last few weeks.
Yes.
But Jalen Warren is younger and has more juice. And so they keep putting him in more and more. They're oh, crap, we have a guy that's better. Devin Singletary was the guy for the Giants. Tyrone Tracy, young guy, has been awesome. And last night, he got the ball all the time. That's who's going to take carries from your starter, not old people who used to be good. Oh. The guy who's going to take carries is the 23-year-old that shows up, and it's oh, holy crap.
So why didn't they get one of those? Isn't that 49er running back when you're a rookie?
Because of Jerry.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Why didn't they get one of those young guys?
That's because there was a run on the 4th. I remember on the draft. I remember when it happened, the run on the 4th with the running backs, and they just all went off the board.
Yeah, they all went off right after the Trey Lance pick that you gave up, Jerry.
Exactly.
It was. I'm telling you,
literally 3 guys who were setting the world on fire went in the next 5 picks. After the pick you would have had if you didn't trade Trey Lance for no reason.
So These
Joneses.
I'm screaming.
I don't want to yell at these Jones anymore. I'm tired. I'm so tired.
It's so believable too.
I just want to do football stuff.
Okay, let's do football stuff.
All right, we got to beat the Falcons. Otherwise, we're doing the draft show starting next week.
Why did you say that?
Got to beat the Falcons.
I got anxiety.
Got to have it.
We'll be doing the Fire McCarthy show for the next 8 weeks.
I really need to see this.
The Falcons are fun.
I need to see this Mike Zimmer-led team. That's going to be great.
Falcons are fun.
Coming up next on the Cowboys DLLS podcast, Trevon Diggs accidentally called out the Cowboys coaching staff for the loss to the 49ers. So let's dig into some of that stuff next.
We are in full swing of the sports season. Around October, November, that's when you get a little bit of everything. You get a little basketball, you get a little football, you got a little bit of, get one more game, hopefully, in baseball. Hockey, everything is going on. And if you want to be a part of that, if you are a super fan like I think you are, if you're a diehard and you are down with all of the sports, all of the time, you need to be at these games. And I guess money's tight. Money's a little tight for everybody. So I got something for you that's going to save you a couple dollars. $20 off your first purchase over at Game Time. Use our promo code DLLS. Get $20 off your first purchase. Download the app. Go on there. Pick your game. Pick where you want to seat, and you're going to be able to see. You're going to see the price. You're going to see the seat, and then they're going to give you a view. And be like, oh, I'm sitting right here. Great view. 50-yard line. Can see those cheerleaders over there. Oh, yeah, the game's going on, actually. Oh, yeah, Dak, run. He's not running. It's all good. but you'll be in a good spot to see it. Head over to GameTime.com, download the app, use our promo code DLLS, and get $20 off your first purchase. Game time!
All right, let's talk about our guys at Empire Today as well. EmpireToday.com/DLLS for $350 off. What they do is flooring, and I will tell you, as a guy who currently is going to do what it takes to paint a back patio,
A little DY.
I wish I had just called Empire Today. And they're like, I don't know. Can you do anything to that? Blow it up. Put something down. Like, my God, the amount of time it's going to take. Doing stuff by yourself is hard, and it ends up just costing more money. So let people do it and do it right. EmpireToday.com/DLLS. That gets you $350 off. They have a wonderful selection. They have a virtual floor designer that'll let you see how new floors would look in any space in your home. You just take a picture, and you can instantly see how those new floors would look in your room. These are our friends at Empire Today, and they are absolutely the best. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can get a $350 off discount when they use the promo code DLLS. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/DLLS for details.
Can I ask a question?
What is this?
I want to ask.
Do you see who's up here?
You
got to come on.
You guys question
You got to come on.
But this is a good thing. We are seeing progress. She's asking a question at the beginning of the
I
segment.
waited.
Then we're seeing progress. I see what I'm saying. You with your reps, you're getting better. Unlike Tyler Guyton, you're getting better with your reps.
Oh man,
He
He
had his best game.
He
According
actually
to
did
PFF.
have his. He did actually have his best game. But my question was, it has nothing to do with football. Furniture shopping as an adult. Because every time y'all do Empire, I think about like the layouts and all that stuff. And I just wanted to know, like, what do have y'all gone furniture shopping with the showroom type thing vibe, or is that old school?
I have, and you should, but I'll more often order stuff off the internet with no idea, just base it on ratings, and then it turns out I hate it. So like right now, I need a new couch because I redid my living room and I hate it. So if anybody wants my couch or my comfy chair,
There's a couch for sale.
Do
It's for
we
sale.
do we really want your couch?
Maybe.
That is fair. I have done dirty things
It-
on it.
Exactly.
I was
Do
going
we-
to say I haven't, but that would have been
Do we
lying.
really want your couch? You gonna get that thing fumigated before you?
Fumigated. Crazy.
I mean, I think it makes it more valuable.
No, never mind. I was just talking. The Empire thing made me.
You started this. You started this. We don't want your couch. Okay?
Never mind.
Somebody out there does. Look, I spent like $1,000 on it. I'll give it to you for $300.
Somebody on Marketplace
is.
gonna come get it. Oh, let's talk.
Yeah,
Let's
you
talk
better
about.
wipe that
Let's talk
thing
about.
down.
My bad, y'all.
Let's knock out the super chats. We had a few super chats I don't think I knocked out, so I got to knock them out. Shroud, thanks for the continued great work. You're welcome.
Thank you, Shroud.
Brian Johnson, fan of Cowboys since '72. If we hadn't fleeced Minnesota in the Walker deal, Jerry would never won one ring. Look at the record since. Resign as GM, Jera. I dare you, Jerry. You don't have the balls to resign as general manager. Get right or get left. To watch Jerry Jones go through this ritual of humiliation really warms my cold Texas Aggie heart. The fish continues to rot from the head down. All right. The podcast that Clarence, I guess, maybe is going on because Mike had tagged him and said that that's who he wants to have on the podcast. He had Trevon Diggs on this week. And one of the things that caught my attention was talking about the first half and Trevon Diggs being like, I thought we had a good plan and I thought we did a nice job. We had it really going. And I'm paraphrasing, but I promise I'm not saying anything that's unfair or inaccurate.
He will come
I'm
and
getting it
find
about
you.
right.
He will come and find you if you put it out there.
And but he's going to hit me with an insult from a 9-year-old.
It might not be these nuts next time. It might be this A. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
They want your dirty couch, Jeff.
Okay, Joe, send me a DM, bro.
Joseph, you got problems.
Yeah. Hit me a DM.
I should
Just flip the cushions.
And Trevon Diggs said, then we got to halftime.
JD Vance wants the couch. That's funny. I'm sorry.
All right, now you have to go full Nick Bosa. You've made your one little comment. Would you like to follow up and clarify anything? You got to just say, nope, I don't want to talk about it.
If you don't know about why JD Vance wants the couch, I'm sorry for you.
So Trevon Diggs basically said, then halftime came, and the 49ers made some adjustments, and then he realized what he was saying, but that there was nowhere else to go, so he sat there quietly for a second, and he was like, and we didn't. Like they came out and adjusted to some things that we were doing, and we didn't. So did you guys enjoy Trevon accidentally just sending a bus directly over? Is that McCarthy, Zimmer, both?
All the mics.
All the mics?
We talked about this on post game. Is that this has been a problem to me? Like the Cowboys haven't been good in the third quarter. This is the second year, like where they come out, the other team figures some things out, and they don't have a counter to the counter, and that's very frustrating. So he ain't say nothing we don't already know. To be honest,
The Cowboys have been outscored in the third quarter.
Yeah, I was glad you got.
Well, go ahead.
No, you got
ahead,
the numbers,
Jesse.
don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I was going to point to you.
You guys are so caring and polite.
That was
Yeah,
my
no.
point. I was co-signing with you. Yeah.
They've been outscored in the third quarter by their opponents 69 to 12. To 12, I think it is. Yeah. In the third quarters. And
Is that good?
I mean,
It sounds bad.
sounds a lot to a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds bad.
And I don't know, like there was some, cause I've people have come to me with this before, and there must have been somebody was watching maybe Peyton Manning somewhere at some point in time. And who am I? I'm like DLLS when it comes to this. Who am I to critique a Hall of Famer like Peyton Manning? But the comment was that Peyton Manning said that there is no adjustments in the locker room at halftime. And I was like, bull crap.
Well, that don't count because Peyton Manning was adjusting at the line every play.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm
he just
like-
walked up and
yeah.
went, "What are y'all doing?"
I'm like,
All right.
no, you weren't changing your complete game plan, but I've been in enough half times to realize that we go in there and we make adjustments. You may change signals, you may change, who's running what, where we're running, where we're throwing, how you're defending it. And we talk about the balance of a football game. I've come in here several times before and told you I think coaching should win you a football game or two in the year. Part of that is your preparation throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
The other part of that are your in-game and halftime adjustments. I just watched a clip of Matt LaFleur, the head coach and offensive coordinator at the Green Bay Packers.
jealous.
Right? And they run a play
Jealous.
for a touchdown.
Yes.
You know when they made that play up?
I do.
On the sideline.
Yep.
Right.
They constructed the play on the sideline.
Mhm.
Not at halftime, it wasn't in the first 15, it wasn't in the script of the week. They saw something in the game, pulled the boys together,
So let's do this.
literally got on one knee. I'm saying drawn in the dirt, but they got boards over there, right? But drew a play up in the dirt and say, let's run it when we go out there. And it worked.
Yes.
So when you hear about, they went in halftime and when they came back out, they did some things that we didn't do.
Let me give you the exact quote from Trevon Diggs. I feel like it was their coach. They had great coaching. They adjusted to the things that we were running. I felt like everything they called was a counter to what we were, and it just was like SOL. They got good players. Debo had a great game. Kittle, Hall of Fame tight end. Purdy's over there doing his thing. So, they got the pieces. So they were executing.
Well, that was a double shot then, because I didn't even listen that far along. So they also said they have better players than we do, which is, probably true.
But that's what Mike said, that their best players got off. He said that we did things, that we planned things to contain Skittle. We schemed
You say
things
Skittle?
to Kittle. Excuse me.
I love.
I was trying to say scheme and Skittle. I love Skittles too. It's my favorite candy.
I hate the yellow. The yellow one's
But he talked about them not being able to contain their best players, and their best players got off, and they had things throughout the bye week to contain that. It was interesting also as we're talking about the coaching. Mike McCarthy told us yesterday in a press conference that last week we talked about the communication. Dak and Lewis talked about we went back to the basics. The communication's high. You can hear the communication's great. On the first drive of the game, they had communication errors on 3 plays.
So I heard that. I just saw the quote of that, and I was assuming he meant like from into the helmet or
No.
something. But he's talking about
The offensive
something that they
line.
had literally
Yeah. Communicate.
14 days to get ready, and they couldn't get plays right.
You look at the
What were you doing?
That's
third and
incredible.
5, the 3rd and 5 penalty. That was an offensive line miscommunication.
Yeah,
They didn't block.
it's-
No one blocked Fred Warner.
Right.
How do you not block Fred Warner.
Yeah, because we all ripped them for the 3rd and 5 run, and clearly they schemed that up.
Yeah.
And somebody was supposed to block Fred Warner.
It wouldn't have mattered.
It probably wouldn't have mattered. But again, you don't let Fred.
Right.
There's a communication
Absolutely.
breakdown, and that's the point. Is that what did y'all do during the bye week to have these communication breakdown on the scripted plays? You know, we're not talking about the 3rd quarter adjustments.
Right.
We're talking about the scripted plays. You plan this is what you go overnight. This is what we're gonna run. These are our best plays, and you have communication breakdowns on the first drive of the game.
And what's even more concerning / damaging about that is normally you get a chance to walk through your first 15, whether it's in the meeting room the night before the game,
Yes.
you do a walkthrough at the hotel, or like you had the night game, right? So you had a morning meeting. You had a morning meeting. You had some time off. You went through this script. You got a chance to see what your first 15 was. And if there was any questions about what you were getting ready to run, how it was supposed to be communicated, what we were supposed to be doing, and to have those guys come out and in those first couple of drives have 3 communication errors, 3, or probably more in the first couple drives, that's concerning.
And that's what he talked about. He said we have great classroom. We got Zach Martin, a great classroom. We have great walkthroughs. It's taking it to the game. There's a communication. They were communicating in practice. They were communicating in the meeting room. You know, it's one of the best meeting rooms I've ever been around. You know, best rooms. You know, we got Zach Martin, but that's the young guys up front. Clearly, it's the young guys up front when it comes to the game, and the guys are moving around because they said the 49ers defense is not a complicated front.
The guy who messed up was supposed to be your left guard. I wouldn't consider him the young guy.
Well,
I would consider Tyler Smith to be one of the guys who should know what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
But we're heading into week 8. You just came off a bye. And the consistent conversation, the overwhelming conversation for this football team has been what? Preparation has been, guys doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Talent.
Guys being, but here's the thing. Talent and communication is 2 different.
Right.
It's one thing, like, if I'm where I'm supposed to be, now if the guy standing across from me is just better, then he's just better, right? Like I said the other day, like I'm done blaming Donovan Wilson. I'm done. He just doesn't have it. So if you keep marching him out there, it ain't his fault no more. He can't cover guys.
Yeah.
Like he just physically can't
and never
cover guys.
It's never been his game.
Never could.
Never been
That's
super
why,
rangy.
and for me, that's why I'm like, well, I don't blame him anymore because he physically cannot do it. I blame the people that keep putting him out here to go do it.
Yeah.
So when your talent is lacking, you gotta be at least like you can't be less talented and less disciplined.
Yeah.
Like that is the biggest cornucopia of terrible teams / terrible success on the field. Because if you had supreme talent, you can do what Micah does at times. You can just kind of bucket and go make the play because your talent supersedes the talent that you're going up against, even when you're not doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing within the confines of the structure.
Yeah.
But when you are not that talented, my boy, you got to be where you're supposed to be every single time, every single down, and then we'll figure out the rest once you get there. But this team is not talented enough to have communication laps, to have the penalties you talked about the other day, to have hell, even on the big play that they had on the reverse, they were confused about that.
Oh yeah, they did. It was the least clean play ever.
And it just happened to work.
Zimmer, like, you're not supposed to get that many yards on that reverse.
No, when the guy has
he
to
was-
stop and wait, like, come on, give it to me.
like, how does that happen? I mean, to go from Dan Quinn to Zimmer, because Zimmer does not want to talk about nothing. I asked him about the safeties. I'm not talking about evaluating players in the media. I mean, you know how effusive Dan Quinn was in all the press conference. You couldn't get him to stop. He going for longer than Mike McCarthy. Zimmer's like,
I thought Donovan did a great job covering Kittle. I thought he was right there.
Yeah, I think I'm getting sick of at this point, because you could put that on repeat, like what Trevon said. That's quite honestly what the players said about Green Bay, is that they had an answer to everything. They had a counter to everything. They were more prepared and all those things. And it just feels like every time we go into these big games, the Cowboys look less prepared than the other team all the time. And I said it yesterday, I'm going to say it again. This team is not – San Fran is not different from last year. They have a few different players, but schematically, so much of what they do is the same. So for them to have communication issues and stuff defensively, understand a new coordinator and stuff, it's just like, what's going on?
They don't
right
have to
now?
change anything to beat Dallas.
They're a growing team. They're going to be ready. They're going to have everything down in December. Everything's going to be down.
If they lose to Atlanta, the season's over.
I'm just repeating what Mike McCarthy and Jared did. They're a young team. Everything down in December.
Thank you, Mr. Guillotine, in the super chat. Who'd have thunk Dono would get targeted more than 27? I mean, a lot of people. Donovan can't cover. Ham Zone, just throwing some money at us. We love you. Dr. J, CD got wide open twice at the end of the game. 3 minutes left. Why not try one of those plays again, at the very least? What happened to keep trying until you stop it? I mean, they were still trying.
They forced about a CD on the first drive because
on the first play.
On the first play of the last
triple
drive.
coverage.
In the triple coverage. You have to have other players to make plays. I mean, yes, they did scheme him open. He did, but the 49ers not going to let you continue to do that.
But
so
they just
other
blew
guys,
a coverage.
Yeah, but you can't bank
He
two guys
jogged
running
across
into
the
each other.
field.
Right.
And then the other one, two people ran into each
Yeah,
other.
Yeah.
You can't bank on that
you need
happening
other
also.
guys to make plays. And again, that's the funny thing about football. And this has been Aaron Rodgers, whoever else. Dak played horribly. But if you got the 2 touchdowns on CD, and if your 5'7" receiver, any receiver comes up with that catch, we're like, what an amazing throw in clutch time situations to bring them back to win the game. That's what happens. And that could have happened if you got other players that can make plays. Because as bad as you play, you make one throw like that, you have the other things with CD, we're talking having a different storyline. We're talking about something totally different.
Beat Atlanta or the season's over.
Or else.
Or else. Coming up next, it is a Tote That Thing Tuesday, and that's a challenge to you guys in the chat. Please hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe, but it's a challenge to you in the chat. Find me something that you want them to carry over from this past week into this week against Atlanta. You got something you got to tote into next weekend. That is next on the Cowboys DLLS Podcast.
And be the ultimate fan. Be the ultimate fan. Have the ultimate fan space. Do the ultimate fan thing. Don't care what sport or what team you cheer for. Our friends over at Foku got you down packed. You got bobbleheads. They got fat heads. They got posters. They got figurines. They call them figurines still? They still call them figurines?
Whatever you want.
Let's call them figurines.
I know Foco got them.
They got all those things that you need for your man cave. Fellas, my boy Jeff, he's into this whole DIY thing, do it yourself, and he's out there and he's going to back patio. Do your man cave that way.
Yeah.
Take on the spirit of Jeff Kavanaugh. But if you're going to do your man cave, you got to do it right. And you need all the essentials that you need down at Foku. DLLS is the promo code that you will use. Save a little bit of money, 10% off when you use our promo code over at foco.com. Fat heads. Oh, and we get what do we get? The friendship bracelets.
Oh,
we get those.
Oh.
We can get those for all your friends and your leagues.
Your friends and your non-friends.
Hit up Foco, DLLS, 10% off. Also, shout out to our friends at Roback, which there's an H in there. If you're watching, you can see that. RHOBACK. Code you need there is DLLS Cowboys 20. Roback Activewear. It's quite simple. Best fit, best feel. The quality of the gear speaks for itself. Their performance polos perform better in the heat than any other polo. They're moisture wicking, so it's not going to stick to you. It has a nice stretch. Their everyday shorts are also perfect. With fall right around the corner, what better item to prepare for the season than adding one of their performance hoodies to your closet, or hoodie, however you like to say it, a hoodie or a hoodie.
No one says it that way.
Polos, hoodies, shorts, they got them all.
You get your goose on.
So use the code DLLS Cowboys 20 on roback.com for a generous 20% off your first order. RHOBACK.com. 20% off all them things with our promo code.
Why would you do me like that? I came to the realization about the dog on the Roback and why it's spelt like that. It's the dog on there, I believe, is a Rhodesian Ridgeback, which are fantastic.
Back.
Yes.
Rhodesian.
And you see the little line.
Back.
Yeah, and they have
There
this
you go.
very distinct line on like their spine, like their fur where it comes up.
There he is.
It's a part of the breeding.
Yeah.
And they're fantastic cattle dogs.
That's the hackle.
Even the
herding
back.
dogs.
The
It's a
Rodak.
different font.
Look at
so
that,
it is
the back.
Rhodesian Ridge.
And the H
back.
is silent.
I know
Roback.
that is
Their
so
H is
random.
silent.
Shout out
I'm
to
just
Animal
glad-
Planet.
I'm just getting at the R's now,
Son of
son.
a bitch.
Yes, that's because you said the H. I was like, bro, DJ Richback. All right, football.
Wants to win the game in the first quarter instead of pounding the rock with
Football.
Zeke.
No,
He
you're
averaged
fine.
3.4
He's not.
carries.
What did I say?
All right, cool. That's learn about a dog breed.
You
today.
brought up hoodies. Are you guys hoodies in the summertime? People like these young kids,
No, it's hot out there.
They scare me.
Y'all psycho.
aren't they?
They scare me.
Do you go commando under a hoodie?
Wow.
No one says that.
Do you have an undershirt on?
Don't show us again. I can only.
Nah,
no,
nah, chill
it's
out,
just.
chill,
it's,
chill.
You always tell me
Sure.
to let one button go at least.
it's just Tuesday.
Yeah, he's breathing.
All right.
That's more acceptable
That's more
because
acceptable.
like there's
Yeah.
buttons and there's airflow
Yeah.
You gotta
between.
let the chest hair.
The fully zip, quarter
let the
zip,
people go.
commando is
When you
not
go to the
okay.
club, I let one more go.
Yeah, yeah.
Still go to the club.
Not on just.
Or
you
does
still
it let
go
go
to the
itself?
There's no such thing as club anymore. No one goes to the clubs anymore.
You're in Atlanta this week.
People do.
Couldn't
You're
you
in
see
Atlanta
Clarence
this week,
Couldn't you see
baby.
Clarence 4:30 a.m. at the after hours spot?
100%.
I do not
That's
do
how
after hours.
that's-
I don't
What is
know.
the point? It's been. I never understood being at after hours spot running races on. Speaking of races, Terrence Williams running a 40 at the after hours spot at 5 in the morning. Why are we doing that?
I
I'm
don't know.
assuming alcohol makes you do some weird things.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess going back to your couch a little bit, just kind of euphemism
Back
here.
to my couch.
If it's 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm finding other things to do to be at the after hours club. It's just time to be at home. And
I agree. And
what's the point?
Yeah,
What is the point?
and sleeping.
Well, yeah, that's.
I'm disappointed in all of you because I hadn't found anybody that believes that I'm going to be able to run a 40.
I seen it. I laughed.
Nobody is
They,
believing
I
in
they
it.
would
retweeted
put that in
that.
the chat because I know people do it on Twitter. Or
So I said I could beat Dak in a foot race, but then I made the mistake of saying I could run a 4.9. The two things don't even have to be related because there's no chance Dak could run a 4.9. But
and then what happened?
You put money on it.
you put money on it and called me out, and so now I asked you how long do I have because I gotta check some things.
Let's get it.
I gotta check the our insurance.
We shook on it.
We
When you
did.
shake on
We
things, this is just we go old school.
And no one believes. Not one
I
person on
believe.
Twitter believes that I can do that.
I believe one time.
That's all I need is one time.
That's all you need.
That's all I need. If I get a good start,
Yes, I am going for the wings.
yes. For the
Magic
win.
City Kitchen.
The thighs.
But it's time for it. Look, it's time for
Tote that thing!
on a Tuesday. We need to find something to take from last week to this week. Looking for anything, and I think we got 0 in the chat. I don't think anybody found a single damn thing. Oh, maybe that was what the Zeke thing was. They
What
need to
y'all got?
They need to pound the ball with Zeke.
Why me? Okay.
Aisha,
Sounds good.
Chest.
tote that thing.
Chest.
Okay. All right. So one thing that I noticed, it was in the fourth quarter. I think it was 10 minutes, 14 seconds left. It was 4th and 4, big fourth down play to Kevontae Turpin. Saw the Cowboys line up in a bunch formation. Don't get to see that much.
Mhm.
Not only that, they motioned Turpin to the outside, out of bunch to trips left, right, and then they actually got a good play out of that. What'd you thought? Who would have thought? Those are things that work. Those are things that San Fran does. Bunch formation, man beaters, cause some conflict, make people have to make business decisions, and then make them pay on the back end. I do think that if he would have ran a little bit more flat, he kind of probably would have went to the house, but he is kind of yiddle. He had to hop for the ball. But do more of that. I don't understand. Even so, I know y'all talking about some freak stuff and happening with San Fran, guys running into each other. Oh, well, that's the point. Like, that's the point of doing crossers or having rub routes and stuff, is that people are supposed to run into each other. If you see that it works, do it. I don't understand. And it's crazy enough because the Cowboys had a season high of 66% of a shift in motion on their plays. Ha, 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 great and dandy. But it's the at-snap motion. And those are things that San Fran does, that push motion, that last-minute change at the line of scrimmage. And that's what I'm asking for them to do. So take some of the stuff they did in this game to the next game because you're going to need it. Atlanta is fun in a weird way.
And Turpin can catch that ball because it's in front of him. He can't catch this ball. But that ball right there, because I talked to another coach that had him in college and said
He's a punt return.
that's a tough ball. He also
That's what you told him yesterday.
you said the same
you
thing,
said
right?
that.
All I say was, does I
I thought you made a great point.
what I say don't make a
I thought
difference.
you said
As someone who played the position his whole life, you got to ask a coach somewhere. Coach probably never even played the damn position before. I tell you the same thing yesterday. You go over my head. Don't look like I
I
said nothing
didn't
at
go
all.
over your head. Actually, I'm co-signing.
Second
a coach,
source.
A coach,
Yeah.
yes, a second
source. He
That's
confirmed.
all. How come he didn't put it on
You
purpose?
ain't have
The
to
guy-
ask the question. When I gave you the answer, you ain't have to ask nobody
I
else.
didn't ask the question. It came
There was
up in
there was nothing else
conversation.
you had to ask to nobody.
He's a
I
journalist.
talked to people. It came up in
source.
conversation, and he basically co-signed the same thing. I'm sorry,
Y'all
co-signed
are-
what you said. But
Y'all are
talking
yelling.
to coaches yesterday, they said Turpin ran a horrible route on the last play.
Barnacles.
And on the other play. And just like you talked about, he probably could have ran the route better. And which Aikman talked about. I mean, the routes are still a problem.
Okay.
He sold the vertical decently, but he could have. If he would have came more flat, that's
Yeah.
the house.
Well, they
Did I lose the ball?
No,
Did I
she didn't
still
give it
have the
back.
ball?
She didn't give it
She
back.
didn't get the ball
She
back?
still got the ball.
Well, y'all was screaming.
Oh,
Clarence Hill, please.
tote that thing.
What you got? What you got, you?
I'm going back to the tried and true, going back to my agenda.
Oh,
3, 1,
Was he?
3.
Would you keep him on the team?
Right there.
Don't cut him.
Right there. Right there. The Marvin Overshawn.
You can't have the 0.
got it
right there.
Rowdy
Go
wears
back
0.
to my agenda.
Rowdy
When you
wears
need a play.
Yeah,
At the end of the game, you need a sack at the end of the game. And you can say they didn't block it, but this guy was trying to block him. He just shot through there. Made the play, made the hit of the quarterback, got the ball back to the offense. Use Overshawn as a blitzer more. That's what he did in college. He's without Michael, he still has that juice. He can get to the quarterback. Use him as a blitzer more. You need help getting to the quarterback. The one that has the juice to get there is DeMarvion Overshawn, 1-3.
you know what, Pop? I'm pushing your agenda too. Like no, I'm not. That's not about tote that thing. I'm co-signing
Okay.
to what he's saying.
Okay.
Because I felt that way watching the game, and I know I poo-poo on like, hey, if you give guys more reps, they'll get better, and da.
He's starting to get better.
He's starting to. You can see the wheels are starting to turn. Like, oh yeah, I've seen this before, and those keys that he's looking at it like, oh yeah, there it is again. And you can tell like the learning part of football is becoming easier for him. And so he's playing, he already plays fast,
right?
But playing fast and know where you're supposed to be going and know how to get there. I see that now starting to kind of, come to form. So this might be the one guy you talk about come December.
Yeah.
With those reps that he's getting, can be a terrifying player for this Cowboys defense.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that you would say is just him getting off some of these blocks. But for the most part, though, you're right, Jesse. He is starting to play fast, and he's starting to see things. And I talked about it on the other podcast that I'm on. The linebackers in this room, especially the young ones, they are kind of learning on the fly. Yeah. And, I know Kendricks is here, but when he's injured, he's not on the field with them. And the linebacker position, to me, is not a position you just go out there and go, you need mentorship. You need guidance. And that's why we see them come in tandems. So him having this opportunity with Kendricks being on the field is, to me, huge for his development. And you're starting to see some good things from you, right?
Yep.
Get it.
Ooh. Jesse Holly, please.
Tote that thing.
We all know that I have been one that has advocated for, pushed for, announced for public shaming.
Yeah.
I
You love
appreciate public shaming. I think we should do more of public shaming, especially when it comes down to professional athletes.
that. Okay.
I want to continue the pledge of public shaming.
Wait, what?
So this is my I don't know what I said. My public service announcement to all you guys out there. More public shaming towards Trevon Diggs. And the reason being, not to be mean,
Coming for you.
but we saw Trevon Diggs play some inspired football on Sunday.
Multiple people said tote Trevon Diggs physical
We
play.
saw
I told you that's
Trevon
why he got
Diggs-
mad at Mike Leslie, because he did what he doesn't normally do.
Trevon Diggs play some inspired football. We saw Trevon Diggs be aggressive. We saw him want to get into the mix of things. We didn't see him trying any tackles. We didn't see any of that. So I want to keep the pushing and the public shaming of Trevon Diggs when he doesn't do things right, because when you get a good Trevon, and when the teams, I guess they'll stop running the ball at us eventually, and they start passing the ball again, I need Trevon to be that old Trevon again. I need him to be that guy that's playing with some fire, playing with his hair on fire, playing a little pissed off. It's okay to play football pissed off. It's okay to hit the other person that has the football. All of those things are great. And Trevon seems to only do that when he's getting a little bit of the public pressure put on him. So, hey, whatever it takes to get that Trevon for me, do what y'all were doing a week ago to get the Trevon that we seen against the Niners, because we will need him in Atlanta.
And you're right, because he talked about the podcast that he felt he had a good game. You know, he talked about that on the Micah Pod. That's why he was upset. And I get that, but you got to read the room. How have you played all season? You can't say I had a good game, so leave me alone. I mean, you know, a lot of time when you build a reputation of being soft, it takes more than one game to
not in Cowboy country.
That's true.
Not in Cowboy country.
It takes more than one game for people to forget your reputation. Is all I'm saying.
Right.
It takes more
he
than
has a
one
half-decade reputation of not wanting to tackle or be physical.
It takes more than
and
one game for people to say, "Oh yeah, he had a good game," so we're not going to get. I mean, that reputation you've earned, and you're going to have to do more than one game of tackling for people to forget that. And so you cannot act like, "Well, I had one good game, so how dare you call me out?"
Yeah. Keep the public shaming going, people. It works.
I'll ask when we come back.
Tote the good plays in the fourth. Throw out everything on the last drive. Tote that thing. We need to seriously get Dak a runner again. That'll actually be in the next segment. Seriously, not every time, but I'll definitely keep the defense honest.
Jeff Kavanaugh.
Tote that thing. You thought you were going to get away from it?
I would like them to tote everything from that game.
They lost.
I want them to do everything.
He just want them to
They
tank.
lost.
Just like they did.
He just want them to tank.
They
Leave
lost.
Terrence Steele on an island
Oh, my
every once in a while
God. You can't trust him.
with somebody who's way better than him so that we can be very certain. And there's no doubt left that he needs to be a post-June 1 cut next year.
Sir.
This is a Cowboy show.
Make sure that you keep feeding Zeke and Dalvin Cook.
Sir.
I want those to be the guys that get
Sir.
the ball. You're going to average 2.9 in the game, just like they did in this
not
game.
a
Sir,
winning
that's not what this
formula.
supposed to be. It's
That
supposed to be
way-
a positive segment.
We can publicly shame
Positive.
Jerry Jones' decision-making for
Positive.
intentionally putting bad players on the football field. Embarrass them over and over.
Oh.
That when you find the other team's best weapons, make sure that all they have to do is line up Deebo Samuel in the backfield, and that'll get him man coverage against Eric Kendricks so that he gets embarrassed. Then make sure that one of the worst covering safeties in football is covering George Kittle for some
Sir.
big plays
Sir.
so that we can cut both of them,
Sir.
fire Mike Zimmer,
Sir.
and we can just reboot the whole damn thing.
Sir, this is supposed to be a positive
I
segment.
wanna- I'm
We're
saying-
trying to take things to next week to win.
He
It's supposed to
ruined
be
it.
The
positive.
positive is if we shame Jerry enough, it doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do
Take
anything.
things-
It doesn't
Take,
quite-
take it to the Atlanta game. Okay, check this out. I hear you, but
We got a
Be-
shot next year.
be Team DLS Cowboys. We gonna talk about the draft in January.
Yeah.
In February.
People
in
like to
March,
bash the
in
Cowboys.
April. We don't need to. Can we talk about football at least to December?
That's what I was talking about. Terrence Steele and Donovan Wilson.
Okay. we're gonna use all our good content from January in November, December.
Oh,
I
I
want to
got
talk about football in November, December.
I got more. You know what I like to tell? I think Cooper Beebe played good football.
Yep.
There you go.
Protection in general
Tote
in
that.
spots in this game was some of the best protection they've had.
Outside of who?
In spots.
Terrence Steele.
In spots. That got hit more than anybody. We'll talk about that.
I shouldn't call for people's jobs. That's irresponsible. But you'd rather not have a big salary cap, a big salary hit on a guy that's not helping you and stuff. Was that a responsible way to say that?
Sure.
Coming up next, we got two things that got to change for Dak Prescott. Let's get into those on the Cowboys DLLS podcast. Also, we want to encourage you to sign up to be a diehard. Do we have some folks? If you signed up yesterday, you let me know so I can shout you out. But alldlls.com is where you go. We want you to sign up to be a diehard. And you do that because you're a psycho for your DFW teams. You want to be a part of a community of fellow psychos that love your DFW sports teams. It gets you access to our behind-the-scenes content, free T-shirt, discounts on merch and events, access to our Discord server that is for diehards only, and it goes down in there. We're talking about my couch today. We're talking about what is it, a carrying card.
Yeah, don't
You
forget
get
that.
your little diehard carrying card, which says you're a diehard. You need people to know that. All the seasons are in swing now. We're cooking. Well, the Rangers aren't playing, but they are the champs
Yeah.
for at least one more game.
For at least one more game.
They're the champs. So, yeah, jump in there. It's just a whole bunch of diehards of DFW sports teams. We talk about sports. We talk about all sorts of other stuff. You want to talk about barbecue, movies, books. We're doing it. My couch.
What's the last thing?
But
Never mind. Go ahead. Finish. I'm sorry. My thoughts almost got to me. My
Your
intrusive
intrusive
thoughts.
thoughts?
Yep. They almost won. They almost won.
anyway, alldlls.com, just $48
That's
a year,
bad.
$4 a month.
So bad.
That gets you all squared away with all those things, and we sure would appreciate it. So do it, or else. What?
Gotta
Or
stop throwing.
hit the like button, or else. I see 166. I want that to be over 200 comfortably.
What's your go-to couch move?
What?
Standard.
Standard?
Standard. Still just standard.
Still just standard.
I mean, you're going to do some shifting and some moving and probably go through 3 by the time it's. But
got to be a 3
start
minimum.
off standard. Yeah.
3 minimum.
Yeah.
3 minimum get you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
3
well,
minimum.
If y'all don't know what we're talking about, don't worry about it. We're
What
just
was
going
the
to move on.
question?
If there was no question.
That was he said. What's your go-to what move?
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott.
Clarence, you saw Mike McCarthy talking yesterday, and he was talking about Dak Prescott. What are his concerns?
First of all, to lead things off, the offensive line is the biggest problem on offense. He said he and Schottenheimer said Dak got hit more, and he's getting hit more than he's ever gotten hit. And so that's the biggest problem. But
So we're 78? Is it 78?
as far as the turnovers are, he's not giving Dak a pass. You know, you can't have the turnovers. And as Schottenheimer said, the first one, I understand he got hit, but the second was a bad decision. You know, you can't have the bad decisions. You have to throw that ball away. You can't. The second one in the third quarter, which was the game changer, Cowboys lost by 1.
Bad pick.
You know, it was a horrible pick, and you can't have the game changers. You know, Jerry talked on the radio, I have no regrets. But let's be honest, and we are all, some of us on it are considered Dak apologists or Dak supporters or whatever else.
Yeah, only by haters, though.
Yeah.
So you can't worry
But-
about it.
And
Or
I
what they
thought he
are.
should have got paid, but when you pay somebody, I never thought it was Patrick Mahomes. I never thought he could, pull a rabbit out of his hat. But you expected more. You expected better. And you can't have the bad decisions. And he's trying to do too much at times.
Yep.
He's not running enough at times. He needs to run more. Although I don't know how many run lanes there were there against the 49ers. Just, you see what
It was a
the
couple.
Purdy was doing, but I said how many? Yeah, but you have to do things to help this team.
Yeah, and I don't give him a pass for that interception either. I do think that Dak's in a tough spot because it's just, hey, welcome to a world where you cannot run the football. They can't protect you very well. Teams
Yeah.
can stop you and rush you with 4. Every circumstance that's going to make it harder to play quarterback exists, and yet you have to be better.
Yeah,
And you do, and you have to be better.
And when you make $60 million a year,
You got to be better.
there are expectations.
But
When
The
you're
only
the
thing-
franchise quarterback, there are expectations. And the best thing he does is usually when he's best is the play pass.
I would
There's
rather
no
you
threat
say
of the
that.
play pass.
I would rather you say that though. I would
No,
rather
what?
you say
play
he,
action.
he play action.
Oh,
I would rather you say
threw me off. I didn't know what the play
Don't
pass
worry about
was.
I would rather
They don't
you
call it
say
the
he's
play
a franchise
pass
quarterback.
Sometimes play action pass. I'm sorry.
We knew what you meant. I knew
I
what you
did.
meant. You didn't know what he meant?
You would rather you say he's a what?
I would rather you say he's the franchise quarterback than say, well, he's a $6 million quarterback. Because the market's the market. He got paid. It is what it is.
Yeah, and that's
But
it's still $60 million.
I agree. I will say I'm looking for his. There's a composure that Dak has had to him for a lot of his career in these situations, and I'm not seeing it the same way. And even so, with some of these that interception in particular, It's almost like he's just like, all right, whatever. At the end of
It's
it,
almost like he has plays where he's underestimating what other players can do.
Maybe.
He
the
was
fact-
trying to make
the-
a play.
Right.
He was
but-
trying to make. He's pressing.
no.
Yeah, but that corner can get to that ball from where he
And
is,
that's
and
what
it's
I'm
like in his
saying.
mind he couldn't.
Well, but even at that, CeeDee Lamb, I think has fantastic sideline awareness, but the likelihood of him even catching that ball right there in that spot was not high. And I know that they've had some great catches along the sideline, but it just didn't look. It didn't look good from the start. I mean, before the ball was released, it didn't look like nothing good could come out of it. So I'm also too just looking for him to find that composure that we have seen him have for a lot of his career.
Yeah. I do think that there's probably an element of pressing because
And I
that I
know
just don't
he
have
can-
good things
he feels
around
that.
me,
Yeah.
and whatever.
you-
But still, it's all built in. We'll say you're a franchise quarterback. Sometimes you're going to have better circumstances, sometimes you're going to have worse circumstances, and despite all of it, we need you to play the absolute best you can, and not as if you have to play better than you can.
I have a question. Do you think that Dak has elevated pretty much every offense that he's had since he's been here? Because
Yeah.
that's my problem with it.
Not
and,
this
and,
one.
and not this one.
Yeah.
Because I think that it's running out in a sense, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
He has elevated these offenses.
It was the worst team, and
For
Jerry told you
years
it was going to
now.
happen. This is a
Yeah.
Jerry
This
thing,
is
not a
what-
Dak
No,
thing.
And
offensive line.
it's just not there. So it's like when we talk about this, yeah, we're gonna hold him accountable. We're gonna talk
Yeah.
about the football things and things, but at the same time, it's like, what more do you want this human
Yeah.
to do besides just not turn the ball
Right.
over?
Wait.
Foolish.
Yeah, you just can't turn the ball over. You got to throw that away. And he said it, and Mike said it. This is his worst offensive line he's played with. But what's also true on that third quarter interception, it was a horrible play call. And Mike said it after the game was a bad
Mike
play call.
took that one.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a horrible play call, even though it was a horrible play call, because what were you going to do there? There was nothing there. And you squeeze. If I hate when they do that, squeeze the field and just have one route, one guy over there. He has to throw the ball away. He tried to make a play. Obviously, he felt the 49ers had scored and trying to keep a drive going. You know, it's the opening drive of the second half, and you're trying to keep that momentum going. But at that point, you just got to throw the ball away, and that's what you got to do. You got to throw the ball away.
What you got, Jesse? You ain't got no opinions about it?
No.
Good.
Nothing?
So the thing about Dak that I think does have to change, that is like actually tangible, that I can point at and be like, that specifically, is being a runner. And there's a reason that I'm gonna blow out a hammy and go to the doctor when I can't run this 4.9, but I'm gonna try my best.
$100, baby.
I'm gonna try to win this $100.
I believe in you.
I don't.
I gotta
One
run this
time.
4.9 because I said I could outrun Dak, but Dak can't run a 4.9 anymore. So you should give me a little leeway. Let me run a 5.1.
No, 4.9.
all right.
We shook on it.
Anyway, he's not the athlete that he was since he destroyed his leg, obviously. And RJ Ochoa tweeted out numbers on quarterback running this year. He's from Blogging the Boys. And did you guys know that Aaron Rodgers has more rushing attempts than Dak this year?
Please don't upset me.
So does Kirk Cousins.
Please.
That's going to take me to a dark place. And I'm going to need some asawasa.
I'm about to get mad.
So does
who?
Jared Goff.
Asawasa.
You know, Sam Darnold has run the ball 3 times as many as Dak.
But how did we get here? Because
He destroyed his leg.
tracking that. But he said on camera and off camera, as I've been in the locker room, that he needs to run more.
He said that.
He wants to.
Oh,
run
well, Jerry
more.
said on the radio today, this is a call coming from inside the house.
What you mean?
Oh, yeah, Jerry.
Jared said on the radio he wanted him running.
Yeah, and he didn't say it.
He don't want him running?
He didn't say it as I don't ever want him to run. Let me see if I can get the exact words.
Because I'm
Here we
like,
go. You really don't want to see him really take off with that ball. These quarterbacks that run, you know they're going to get injured, and that happens. It happens to the youngest. It happens to the best. It happened to Dak. I wouldn't say it's up there in red letters in the practice facility, don't run, but I would say that we want him to be smart about it, and he is being smart about it. However, he will, when he sees the opportunity, pull it down and run with it. I'm satisfied with Dak in terms of his ability to run. It's there. There's no question about that. I don't want to see him take those kind of hits. They're telling him not to run.
Exactly. Because one thing about Dak is that I do think, like, when he said that, he meant it when he said that earlier in the season. And even though I know you talked about him not being as fast and everything and stuff like that, that's clear. He not dumb. Like, yeah, he knows what he sees. He understands that running the ball would be able to open up some of the offense. So it's like, I couldn't figure out, like,
What
this
if
doesn't feel
it's-
like this doesn't feel like him.
What if it's the greatest, most petty thing ever? Like, they're telling him not to run, and he knows. Like, okay, so
But how
my
can you-
receivers
how can
aren't
you-
good enough.
Like, you
No.
can't tell
My
me not
lines
to
aren't good
run
enough.
when I'm in the action of the game.
Right, no, yeah,
you just
you can't.
can't. Like,
You can't.
there's nothing you can tell me when I say, "Here we go,"
Yeah.
and they snap me the ball.
You got the ball. It's like interceptions.
Nothing you can tell
Ball's
me.
in your hand. You
If-
got.
Well, he hadn't been running for years. Like, there's
But that's what-
so many times when he should pull that ball, and he doesn't even think about it. He's just like, go ahead.
Hell, on the 3rd and 5 play, he should have kept the ball that came around
Yeah.
the opposite
Talk about
end.
it.
He
Yeah.
might have hit his head on the goalpost.
And
Yeah.
it would help your red zone efficiency
Yeah.
too. I mean, you can't really run the ball down there. You know what would open it up? If he would just at least threaten with that.
Yeah, he has.
So whatever it is, they need to figure it. Like, if he's
My-
you
if,
need
if,
it.
If Dak had a semblance of running, you know what would have happened on that second interception?
He would
Lenore
have
would have
ran.
actually came up.
Oh, yeah. He might have actually thought he had a tackle.
Lenore would have actually said, "You know what? He has put the ball on the ground.
Mhm.
I mean, he has tucked the
Right.
ball and used his leg and kept the ball on the ground."
Because it was
they-
3rd and 4.
But everyone was like, "Nah, he ain't running." They just kept backing up, and
Right.
he just started.
In which
Yeah.
case, you just need to stop calling zone read plays, because what
Right.
you're really doing is letting a defensive end tackle a running back
Right.
that's not blocked.
Yeah.
Right.
The idea is to read an unblocked guy, and if he comes down, you pull the
He's-
ball.
one
So
thing-
now I'm not going to pull
looking
it.
at them.
Well-
He's literally he's reading it.
Right.
He knows he should run. We're
Yeah.
watching him look,
Yeah.
and he's not going.
Right. And either he doesn't have confidence in it, or, as you said, his ability to run, or whatever it is. Because he has talked about running more. He hasn't done it. Mike talked about that yesterday about the scramble drill. You know, we need to incorporate the scramble drill. And he was talking about his quarterback running in those scramble mode situations.
Yeah, and that was when it was a really blinking light to me, was the second down play on the very last possession, when he just couldn't break the pocket against a guy who's a large, slow person. And
Right.
he just couldn't outrun him and give
cannot
himself a
run.
chance
And
to figure it
he
out.
knows that too.
But
Yeah.
I think his clock. I talked to you about this. I think that his clock is either too slowed down or too sped up in some situations.
Well, you got to have a Terrence Steele clock.
Change the batteries.
But he also has to have a Guyton clock.
Yeah, you have to have a Guyton clock too.
How many clocks do you want this man to have?
And
4.
Yeah.
Bye.
You got to have my left tackle got beat, my right tackle got beat, I'm going to
That's
believe
a
in y'all.
lot of clocks, y'all.
and my center's not getting when they do the stunt.
Yeah, any stunt, that's a new clock. That's a different clock.
That's a lot of clocks.
And the running backs ain't got a running game.
It's a lot of bad, and what they desperately need is to show up, because I do think that was Tyler Guyton's best game. I think that was Cooper Beebe's best game.
Yes.
So there are guys that showed some stuff. You desperately needed to all come together this week and beat the crap out of somebody, so that, because the only thing you can talk about with this team right now is everything is really bad.
Right.
That's where they are. Everything's bad.
Trade deadline's on the 5th.
Nothing happened. Jerry says today they're not adding anybody. And you're right. You have to beat Atlanta. Any hopes, and they have hopes of maybe we can salvage the division, but you got to beat Atlanta so the division is still in play. You can't be 3 games down.
Cowboys by 100. Thank you for KG in the super chat. Did I miss any other ones, or are we caught up? We're squared away. Hit like on your way out. How about that? Make sure that you're subscribed. If you're watching on my channel, make sure you're following youtube.com/@DLLS_sports. What? Mike Leslie's going to join us on Thursday.
D's nuts.
With a D's Nuts update. An update on D's Nuts from Mike Leslie.
Can we talk more about that?
And we'll know we'll find out if Clarence is going to be on Micah's podcast. All those things. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everyone. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminate the contingencies.
Or else.
We all silly like the mayor.